For that, would you like to give like a quick intro about who you are, where you're coming from, what is your experience before you build high level?
I am a software engineer by trade. I had a previous SaaS company, so I've been writing software forever.
How did you actually be like, okay, we're going to crack the code, build a CRM platform for agencies? What was like the vision? Like, did you start with the same product vision you have right now?
I didn't start with this product vision at all.
Where do you think like this ideology came from?
I steal all my best ideas and I steal them from the same people. I steal them from my customers.
Would you like to, like, if you could go back and talk to 20-year-old yourself, like 20-year-old Shaun, what would be the one advice you would give to yourself?
Never fail until you quit, right?
Hey guys, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nikhil Sai Show, which is hosted by me, the Nikhil Sai. And guess what's going on today? We have one of the craziest technology founders here. If you are an agency owner and you don't know this software, you are living under the rock and you need to level up. So again, I don't want to give a long intro and, spoil the entire interview. I would let Shaun speak. Hey, let's welcome Shaun, CEO at GoHighLevel. Hey, Shaun.
Hey, nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. So Shaun, this has been changing the game from the past 3-5 years. It's blowing up. You have built this in the last 5 years. And if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the fastest growing SaaS products out there, especially in the agency.
I hope so. I don't know for sure, but certainly we're growing very fast. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely get to like the story of GoHighLevel, the product, the team, the technology, the kind of community you're building and all of that stuff. Before that, would you like to give like a quick intro about who you are, where you're coming from, what is your experience before you build GoHighLevel?
Yeah, sure. So I am a software engineer by trade. I had a previous SaaS company, so I've been writing software forever, but it was certainly a lot smaller than this. And, I've been doing this for about 5 years with my two co-founders and a lot of other great team members.
Totally understandable. Now, in terms of understanding the vision of GoHighLevel, when you are actually getting the product idea, I mean, when you actually started GoHighLevel, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018, there's already like thousands of the CRM platforms.
Total.
Yeah, like how did you actually be like, okay, we're going to crack the code, build a CRM platform for agencies? What was like the vision? Like, did you start with the same product vision you have right now, or did you pivot?
No. Yeah. But anyway, so, we didn't start with this product vision at all. We started with my original co-founder and I, we just started with our previous customer base and they wanted to get more customers. We thought that was awesome. And we thought we could make software for them. So we didn't even think about creating a CRM or a marketing automation tool. We really thought about how can we help small businesses get more customers? And at the time it was really simple. It was just reputation management and two-way text messaging. And the big issue we ran up against out of the gate was they loved the idea of the product. They bought the product, but then they would cancel the product because they didn't have time to actually implement the product. And so what we realized in that moment is A, we were in trouble, but B, we needed to find a new idea. And so lucky for us, we got a call from a marketing agency who said, hey, we have a co-customer in common. I'd love to see what you're doing for my customer. And so we got on the phone with that person and really what he showed us and really opened our eyes to is we had a great product. It's just that we needed a way to get it actually working in the small business. And the answer there was the agency, right? And so from there, we literally helped his agency. He bought it for 80 of his clients. And then he introduced us to about 13 other agencies. And then one of those agencies had a mastermind and we went and sold it to 40. But really what we learned in all of that is that the agency is really the difference between success and failure of the small business. And so we thought, okay, well, wait a second. Instead of serving the small business, let's serve the agency if we truly want to help that small business. So we just totally changed the way the software worked. And we just started going to work and saying, okay, agency owner, what do you need? And at first we built a lot of the tools agencies didn't have. So like a lot of it was lead nurture. So like they were generating leads, but then the customers weren't following up with those leads. So we're like, okay, let's generate automation sequences to go out to those people. And then from that, we needed to book the client. So we started creating calendaring and booking. And then from there and on and on and on. And now today, we're looking back, we've pretty much built almost everything you could imagine, but we never really started off with this idea. We just literally kind of followed our customer where they went and tried to help them along the way. And that's how we got here.
Yeah. Quite interesting. Now, in terms of while you're actually pivoting from just like building a CRM to actually working along with agencies to help them build their businesses, where do you think like this ideology came from? Is that because you already have software experience and you already have worked with multiple companies, or like where did the actual bone come from?
Yeah. So, my original co-founder and I are software engineers. So we know how to write code. So it wasn't a feature, it wasn't an issue of like, hey, can we write these features? That was simple, right? And so ultimately when we wrote the features, that was easy. But then it was like, well, how do we get it out to people? And we didn't know that at all. Had the agent, that agency that called us, he's actually our third co-founder now. His name is Rob and Alex. And he's really the person who gave us this big idea, right? And I don't even know at the time that he had it as a big idea. He just thought, I'm an agency owner. I have this problem. I need help solving it. Can you help me? And we were able to help him. And then from there, turned out it was a problem of a lot of agencies. And then as we moved forward, there was also this big pivot and that we also didn't see at first, which was, wait a second, all of these small businesses are buying software from software companies, but these software companies just sell them tools and then they just sort of vanish, right? And then the small business owners kind of left like, help, I have this tool, I don't know how to use it. So who do they call? They call the marketing agency and they say, hey, I just bought XYZ software. Can you come help me figure out how to make this work? And so we thought, well, wait a second, what if the agency is then selling the software, making money off selling the software, and then they can brand it and white label it so it's their software, not somebody else's software. And that idea was huge for us and really has defined what the company is today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it really opened up like a revenue stream for agencies and also a very, very good way to retain their clients, because most of the times, like, you got to break up with a client, especially at a service standpoint, but having
Yeah.
a software hooks them for a very longer term in terms of, again, hooking them for the software along with, because they're using the software, they might need the services because they look at the stats and help. They
Bingo.
have the work done.
Exactly. And what we realized over time actually is it's actually better to get out of the services business and just do the software thing, because really that scales a lot better. It's a lot more profitable. So we have a lot of people now, we call them SaaSpreneurs. And now they're literally, that's what they're doing. They're selling, not just the software by itself, but they're adding in their snapshots, their funnels, their social media marketing campaigns, all this stuff. But the vast majority of the work being done is being done by the software. So they've created a very scalable business. They're a lot more profitable. And many of them actually even go on vacation now, whereas they didn't used to.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, in terms of the current stats, I know your website says you have over 20,000 agencies and 1 million businesses, which is insane volume at a software
Yeah.
space. But just checking in, if you could give the latest stats, like how many active agencies do you have? How
Oh,
many are actually?
Oh, I think we just hit 30. I don't have an update on the number of businesses that is, but it should be a relatively similar percentage gain. And then what we're really also starting to do is look beyond that into not just the businesses, but how many employees do those people have, right? So, really we're now serving, I think it's something like a 2.5 million or 3 million end users. And so it's a pretty large customer base at this point.
Yeah, I mean, having 2-3 million people using the platform is no joke, actually. At even a software perspective, it's insane the
Totally.
kind of technology you guys are building. Now, I would love to know more about the GHL to high level transition. Is it the domain thing which actually made you pick the Go High Level thing, or is it just that it
Yeah,
was
so we
that?
wanted to name the company High Level, and the High Level domain wasn't available. So it was like, well, what could we do to fix this? And I was just like typing into the domain instant. I love instantdomainsearch.com because you can sit there and fire off domains, and it's like high level up, high level fly, high level jump. Like, oh, that's terrible, right? And like just keep going, and eventually we just got Go High Level. It's short, it's easy, it's simple.
Yeah, fair enough. That's pretty exciting to know. And when it comes to high level right now, how would you explain it to like a business owner? Like if you would like
I
to give
don't.
like a
Trick question. I don't explain it to business owners because we don't sell the business owners, right? We sell the agencies.
Hmm.
And so there's a radical difference there. And I think that's the point. So business owners, if we're really being honest, small business owners aren't really set up to be successful with modern digital marketing tools. I don't know if they were ever set up to be successful with marketing in general, but the best plumber in town, the best dentist, the best doctor, you don't really want them to be the best funnel builder, the best AdWords ad guy, the best software guru. It just doesn't make sense. These are separate roles. And the more they lean into marketing or lean into software, the less they lean into what they're good at. And so fundamentally, we wanted to change that. And that's what agencies do. They're the rightful, in my opinion, owners of this task, because they can do a couple of things that are important. First of all, they understand the technology and they understand their customers. And so they can choose, well, which features work for plumbers, for lawyers, for dentists, for doctors. And then from there, it's just a tool. So it's like, well, what do we need to do with the tool as an agency to help that actual business create some kind of impact, right? And then also, which parts of the tool should the customer work on? So maybe you get it to the point where there are customers chatting in every day on the website saying, hey, do you guys do this or that? Or how much do you charge for this, right? And then you as the agency teaches your customer, hey, look, you need to get in right there and answer that question because I can't answer it for you. You can answer it, right? Or we're seeing a lot of AI now. So like this quarter, we have a big AI bot coming out. So the agency's going to go in and actually train the bot, put the bot in place, all this other stuff. And then maybe what the business owner would do is look at some of the responses and say, I'd like to change this response or that response. But see, this is where this sort of group effort comes in. And you can see how the agency really is critical to that whole motion versus just giving that tool over to the plumber. Good luck. Not going to happen.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's one of the most, like, I think that's the biggest pain point for any business owners who's using any kind of software. Like, they just don't get well onboarding. They don't understand the ongoing support. They don't know how to use the platform itself. It's just total mess. But having an agent's leverage model is absolutely a brilliant way to grow the SaaS. Now, coming back in terms of the AI bot you're talking about, we use it personally experiencing myself. I was like, holy, like this is just insane. It's like even I would not be responding as quickly, as appropriately as the bot, especially in that case, because the
Me
use case
either.
and intelligence is just insane. So coming back, where do you see the AIs, like the technology we are going through, will take the agency space and the whole high level and the marketing in general in the 3 to 5 years time span?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a tool like any other. So, it's like going from a handsaw to a chainsaw. But what I still think is really important is you're still trying to cut down a very big tree. And so having the right person with the right skills and the experience to do it is what matters. So just like any other technology, I hand AI off to the plumber and nothing happens, right? The AI, they might say like, hey, like, can you tell me the best recipe for chicken, whatever? And maybe ChatGPT gives them that and they do that. And that's awesome, but that's not going to help their business. So from our perspective, what we see is, okay, first of all, where do we take this technology and put it in a place where it can help the agency and thus the business? So we've already done this with copy. So you can write anything in the app essentially with AI. We've seen this in images. So we've already got the ability now to dynamically create images. And then now we're rolling out this AI bot, and it's the same concept, the ability to go in and have the agency again, put the tool in place, and it can operate across channels. So like SMS, WhatsApp, email, etc. So it's like a cross channel, Facebook Messenger, Instagram DMs, all that, which is cool. But again, it takes that agency to really then focus on, okay, well, even then, let's just imagine, you put this bot in place in your business and it's talking to people. Well, what good is it if it talks to someone but doesn't do anything, right? Like this is the problem with, like, let's just say you can ask it about Bob's towing all day long. Hey, do you guys do towing? Yes, we do. Hey, do you tow? How much does it cost for a tow? Oh, on average, it costs $200. Like, let's just see, it keeps going all day long. And it's like, well, yeah, but now what? And so this is where the agency and us as a team come together and say, well, what we really want people to do is book a gosh darn tow. So the bot now that's the objective of the bot. So you have a system where you can tell the bot, okay, look, these are the questions that we need to have asked before we book the appointment. Cause maybe you need to know something like, how big is your car? Is it a truck? Is it a car? Is it a van? Is it a bus? Right? That could matter. Do you want a flatbed or not a flatbed? That could matter. And then you ask those questions and you get that person to the point where they answer the basics. And then you're like, great, would you like to book a tow? And then they're like, yes. And then bam, you actually book them. So you're achieving an objective for that business owner. And so back to the fact that yes, AI underlies and powers all of that, but without the agency, we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything interesting. We're not getting the job done. We're not getting that business owner what they want, which is more customers.
Yeah, can't agree more. I believe like having that superpower but don't know how to use it doesn't make sense, to even have the power in the first place,
Yeah. Like you
right?
and I can see through walls today. Like now what?
Yeah,
Right?
now answer the world either
Right?
way.
You
So
got yeah,
doesn't
like
matter.
I'm sure we could think of some goofy things to do. We could pull some tricks on some people, but in a minute, but if you want to actually use it to do something radically cool, you really got to think through it and sit down. And I think this is where experts matter.
Yeah, interesting. And Sean, like compared to like a typical software company, your company is like very different, completely product oriented. I'm in the Slack channel with your tech team. Whenever we need something, they're just like quick as anything else. And we have had variety of integrations to integrate with our native platforms, different SaaSes, and all of that stuff. Now, in terms of the playbook of how you structure the company, just curious, did you create it yourself? Like, hey, let's go into this agency model and resell SaaS this way, or did you get an inspiration from somebody, or where do you think this is evolving?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. No. And then yes. So no, I didn't come up with this idea at all. I'm not creative. I'm terrible with ideas. I'm like the worst idea guy ever. But yes, I did. I was inspired by people, and those people are called my customers. Let me tell you an inside secret. I steal all my best ideas and I steal them from the same people. I steal them from my customers. And don't worry, I tell my customers, I say, listen, I'm going to steal this idea from you. You're a genius. But this is actually how we operate. So we don't really see ourselves as sitting out over here telling you what to do and deciding what's best for you. It's the opposite, right? We see ourselves in service of you. So we believe that you're telling us what needs to happen and we're listening to you. And we have faith that if we listen to you and we do so, and obviously when you get a lot of people, you got to create systems to organize that. Like we have ideas lists and we have people vote and this and that. But ultimately, it still comes down to, all right, the majority wins. It's democratic. It's meritocracy. It's a meritocracy. And what we're really trying to do is listen to our customers and point our team in the direction that our customers are asking us to go. Because at the end of the day, we think of you as the experts. We think of you as the people on the street, on the ground, serving the customer. So whatever it is that you're seeing may be radically different than what we could sort of make up on our own. So we just don't see, I mean, it's kind of funny to say it this way, but I think that's how other people operate. And it's weird, right? Because how the heck are they supposed to know what's going on if you're an agency serving a plumber? You're at that plumber's office, you're listening to their problems, you're seeing how it really goes down. down. I don't get how other software companies operate differently, but I guess apparently they do. We don't. We get all of our best ideas from our customers, and that's how we operate.
Yeah, I've seen like you guys are very fast at taking feedback. Like we ask something, like 3 days later, yeah, it's live. I'm like, what?
There you go.
How is that possible? Like what you guys are doing in the first place? I don't.
We have just, I mean, we have such an amazing team. It's not even funny. I mean, it starts with just incredible product managers. It's incredible engineers, and also just a sort of like a decentralized situation where product managers and dev teams operate on their product areas independently. They all are expected to talk to customers, listen to their feedback, work through the ideas list, all of that stuff without ever talking to anybody else. Their mission and their job is to be able to go all the way end to end without talking to me or our CTO or anybody else. And, obviously I'm really excited and interested and I want to be part of it, but we're so big now that they have to be that way. So you have to hire really smart people, right? You have to hire people who can get that type of job done and do so by talking to a customer and not hiding behind their desk or behind their screen, not willing to reach out. So it's a totally different playbook, but it works really well for us.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like I've used, if I'm not mistaken, hundreds of software products. The only team I've ever talked to for any product, it's a support team.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Talk to these guys, whatever. They're not interested, all that stuff. Yeah. And it's hard, right? Like, because it's a balance, certainly. I'm sure if I said, hey, here's the booking link for the product manager for the calendar, 10,000 people are going to book that guy's calendar. So you got to be careful about that. And not everyone is in the same place, but I think the way we do it is pretty decent. We try to find people who have expertise or just seem to have good feedback and throw the calendar links at them. And then we also have organized methods. So we have like a town hall we do every month where anybody can show up. The team puts on a full presentation. Hey, here's what we're doing for the calendar for this quarter. Here's our roadmap. Here's where we're at. Here's what we're thinking about for next quarter. And then anybody can give feedback. Anybody can say what they think. Anybody can come up and give their feedback. And then also we have the ideas list as well. So it's like, hey, you want something in the calendar specifically, you can vote on it. So we try to give like lots of methods so that if I'm the product manager, let's just say for the calendar, I'm getting a lot of inputs. And some of those inputs are super organized and voted on and this and that. But some are not, right? Like some are just random, because I think introducing some of that randomness is also super important, right? Because maybe I'm not a big shot and maybe I don't have a big agency with thousands of clients or whatever, but maybe I just have a really good idea and I should still be heard for that. So we try to make room for all of those different ways.
Yeah, I believe the culture at high level is just amazing in terms of team and how you guys are operating. I mean, it's funny. It's quite interesting to like analyze your company. Like there's this social media networks who have tens of thousands of developers sitting around. They have one algorithm. The product is same from the past 10 years. And
yeah, you wonder why they need all those people, right?
So how big is the team right now, Shaun, if you'd like to mention?
600 all in. So pretty big.
Yes.
And I don't know the breakdown. You still think we're heavier on the engineering, although customer service and customer success are starting to edge those folks out because it's kind of funny. Our dev team is getting radical. It's funny. We hire engineers like crazy, but they're getting hyper efficient. And so they're able to build way more than they used to be able to the person as they stay here longer and they get better. But the customer success, customer service, one of the things that we've noticed about that is there's no true replacement for human connection. And this is a big part of our ethos, right? So like when you come in, our customer support team or customer success team, our onboarding team, it's on Zoom. So we don't tell you to get in line or get in a queue or stay on hold. We put you in a Zoom room with real human beings. And then you get on a Zoom call, just like we are here, and share screens and go through things. It's a very time consuming process. But what we found is you can't efficientize that or whatever the word is. You can't make it radically more efficient with systems or anything else. People like talking to people. And so we realized that investing more money in just particularly up front, like a lot of people after they've been with us, let's say 90 plus days, they actually don't want to get on the Zoom call because they're kind of experts. So they just like, hey, listen, no, Mr. Support Chat guy, just give me the answer to what I have going on here. But it's in those first 90 days, it's radically. So here's what I would say. If you are ever going to sign up with us, we try to get you on these calls and we're not joking. Like your personal success, the likelihood you're successful, like it's almost like 10x higher if you talk to us at the outset. And what's funny is even if you're an expert and you're a ninja and you're great, just imagine we can accelerate you through the setup faster, right? And so it's a way, way, way better experience. But we look at the data, and if you look at churn rates, if you look at revenue, if you look at like agency success, way better if you talk to our person up front.
That's a good thing. Any agency owners, if you haven't talked to high-level team, guess what? You should actually. Looks like.
Yeah. We have like 3 different Zoom rooms now. All full of different people at different, and the goal is to like hit you at the right stage. Because one thing we notice is people will walk in the door and they'll say, well, I really need blah. And you're like, okay, cool. Yeah. You need Facebook ads set up. That's great. But hold on, before you do that, let me help you with these other 5 quick things that will actually get you radically faster to success than that one thing. And then we'll go to that one thing. Don't worry, we'll get you to that one thing, but let's do these 5 things first. And we do that. And people are like, holy cow, I had no idea. Wow, I'm making so much more money. My clients much happier. Like I'm getting leads for them for free. I'm not even have to run ads. It's like, yeah, I know. See, we trust me, we can help you with this. So it's really about trying to engage people sooner, just to create that connection and help them be more successful.
Yeah, I love that. Now, this is a tricky question. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you believe that is there any competition in this space to high level? Like you guys are operating very different than a traditional SaaS product. There's like this one
Yeah.
guy who's podcasting or a funnels thing or some email thing, but you guys are like building like a different beast itself. Do you consider yourself having some competition? How do you go
I mean, there's
about that?
always competition, right? So like, and it depends on who you're talking about, on what day, and so forth and so on. I mean, I think that in short order, we will actually start to take on, and we already do this to a great extent, but we'll do this in a more serious way here soon with some really, really big CRMs that people have heard about. But I don't think, I have zero fear of those people because they can't change their business model. They're too far down the road. And so they're just not going to be able to pivot, right? But I am always looking, you know what I do? I look behind my shoulder. I look at people who today I could dismiss, and I could say, oh, there's just a bunch of losers. They're small. They can't hurt us. But you know what? I remember when I was small, and I remember that people discounted me, and I'll tell you, that's why I'm here. So I'm not going to make that mistake on somebody else. And also, sometimes people will point out competitors, and maybe you look at them and you're like, well, that's not really a fair comparison. But at the end of the day, what you try to do is like, you're like, well, wait a second, what can I learn from this, right? And so I would say that like there is no one doing what we're doing, how we're doing it, period, bar none, at this scale anywhere on the planet at the moment. But that doesn't mean it won't change, right? And it doesn't mean we should get complacent or lazy. Our mission is to continue doing what we're doing first class all the way and just never stop, because we know we're doing the right thing. And the biggest thing for us is it's about making money for our customers. That's how we wake up every day and we're like, does this make money for our customer? Yes, great, do it, and do it well, double down on it, and find more things to help them succeed. And I just feel like if that's what we focus on in life, we're going to be successful.
Yeah, totally spot on, brother. Now, when it comes to the SaaSpreneur, would you like to give an intro? Define SaaSpreneur. How
Yes.
many?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So first, back to the fact that I don't invent things. I stole this from our customers. So let me just make that very clear. So I get on calls with customers all the time. And there's this, I started getting on calls, and they were always the same. They're like, oh, well, the people would be like, hey, I need help with this, or I need help with that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's get on a call. And then I would start asking, like, but I always ask like, well, what do you do? And who do you serve? And how do you do it? And blah, blah, blah. And it was always the same, right? Like, oh, I do Facebook ads, or I do SEO, or I do websites, or this, or this, or this. And then people started saying weird stuff to me like, oh, high level white label every month as a SaaS. And I'm like, what? Huh? Can you explain that? I'm like, yeah. So it's like, we take the software and we package it up, and then we sell it as a monthly fee. I'm like, what? So I heard this like once, and I was like, you're smart, but no one's going to do that. Then I heard it second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. And then I would ask these people like, how big are you now? And the people would be like, oh, I think we're going to do about $1 million this year. We're doing about a 10th a month, 50,000 a month, 200 a month. And all of a sudden some guy's like, oh, I'm going to do 7 million this year. What a genius smoking idea. So that's exactly what we did. I analyzed what those people were doing. I stole it. I stole all of it from them. And then we put it into the app and made it really standard. So basically, and it's funny because it just makes a whole lot of sense. So if you're listening to this right now, just take a minute and step back and think, okay, how is software purchased today? If I'm a small business owner, how does it work? Well, here's how it works. You go on the internet, you read a bunch of reviews, you attend a bunch of webinars, you have a bunch of sales guys call you or email you or this, and eventually you capitulate because you give up, because you do not have enough time to go out and be doing a plumbing thing, driving your van around town, fixing people's toilets and water heaters and everything else, and then also sitting down and copiously analyzing software. So at some point you just buy what you hope is a good choice from some far off person, from some far off place, and you just hope it all works out, right? That's how software purchasing works today. It's garbage. And so what we're really saying now is like, no, wait. You know that agency that you know, like, and trust? Maybe they're local. And by the way, the local guys always have the lowest churn. Or maybe they're remote, but they're in your niche or something. Who knows? Those people already know how to get you more customers. What if those people also know how to help you buy the software you need, and not just buy it, but also implement it, run it, scale it, change it, continue to make it work for you, and you can pay them to do it? Well, that's what we're talking about here. It's truly about, this is what's so great about this. It's a better model with or without high level. Like if I am a plumber and I buy software from someone in my town who can then come out and actually like make it work for me, it's a better freaking model, period. And so that's what we're doing. We're scaling that idea up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very, very brilliant. And when it comes to the SaaSpreneurs, especially, how, like, if you would like to share some like numbers here, like the top people, like how many sub accounts?
So we had our annual event last October, and we calculated that the SaaSpreneurs have already done over 200 million in revenue. And that was last October. This October will easily double that number. And here's what's so cool about this. This is what I love about it. Okay. So if you are in your basement right now, your mom's basement, I will tell you that this model works for you. This literally will work for you. I don't care where you're starting. Yeah, I have no customers. I've never done digital before. I don't know what I'm doing. It actually works for that. Then go all the way to the other extreme. I've got 6 offices on 6 continents and 600 employees, and I'm a big mega agency. Guess what? Works for you too. I've seen it at both ends and everything in the middle because it's very, very, very simple. All of these businesses are going to buy software. Period. And in fact, I would say, and let's just think about this. Like, take something simple like, do you ever do tap to pay when you're going around like with your phone? You ever
Oh yeah,
tap pay?
absolutely.
Me too, right? You do it more than you used to?
Of course, because it's easy.
Right. Could you ever imagine a world where someday you go in someplace and you're like, you go to tap to pay and they're like, we don't have tap to pay. And you're like, what's wrong with you? Right. Well,
Yeah,
guess
it's
what? That didn't always exist. Right. So here's the point. Every business is going to have tap to pay in the future. And if they don't, they're going to go out of business, right? You're not going to go there. And so that's the point. These technologies are going to be table stakes for every small business. And so this is what's wildly cool about this idea. They don't have to buy it from some mega SaaS company or some VC backed person in Silicon Valley. They could buy it from you. And in fact, they would prefer to do that because invariably, what do we know? We've also walked into restaurants and certain local businesses and things, and then the tap to pay is broken or the stupid thing's not working. And the business owner has no clue what they're doing. And so what do they want to do? Do they want to call and hope that 1-800 picks up and fixes it? No, they want to call some guy who's local and be like, get down here and fix this right away. And that's your huge advantage because you're just like, be right there. And you roll down there and you fix it. And they're like, oh, thank God, you're amazing. And then while you're there, you're like, oh, hey, by the way, we have a new thing coming out that is going to make you more money and I'm going to charge you more for it. And boom, you're going to make your upsell too. So this is why this model is the future. It doesn't, period. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could already see the proof of concept that it's snowballing overall. Now, would you mind sharing your insights? One of your co-founders is an agency owner. He sold services all day. Like, there is now SaaSpreneur, so just crushing it, only selling software. Like, how do you compare between both of them? Just selling software or selling only services using HighLevel as a platform or something?
No. So first of all, the most successful SaaSpreneurs are right in the middle. Service business. Okay, so again, take a step back real quick and just ask yourself, like, what service businesses get venture capital funding? None. What? Well, that's weird. That's crazy. Why would that be? I know it's because they're not really that great. They don't scale very well. They're super laborious. They're people intensive. And so as a result, there's nothing like, I don't want to invest in that. That's not a business. That sounds like a job, right? And then what's worse is the people who run them, they tend to be like, the owner tends to know all of it. And so the owner gets hit by a bus, like, oh my gosh, my investment's dead, right? Literally or figuratively, right? Even if you survive the bus hit and you're in the hospital for 6 months, it doesn't matter. Business is gone. Software is totally the opposite of that. It's very, very scalable. But here's the problem with going all the way to the software end. Now you're just selling tools. Now you're selling hammers and screwdrivers and saws. And it's like, well, yeah, but I don't need that. I want my house remodeled. I don't need the tools to remodel it. I need the darn outcome, right? And so here's what's great about the middle. The middle is where you say, okay, I'm going to take the tools as an agency and I'm going to know what the tools are, but I am not going to talk about the tools. Do not talk about the tools. Do not get into a debate about CRMs or two-way texting or this or that with your customer because your customer has no idea what you're talking about. And if you try to force them to have this debate, they will have this debate with you. You will lose. They will think they're right. And it will be a waste of time. Focus on outcomes. The agency, I'm going to get you more customers, higher ranks on Google, right? All these things. These are the same pitches you guys are already doing on this, but think it's the fulfillment that changes. Today, you're like, I'm going to make you a new website from scratch. That's a lot of work. I'm going to try to get you ranked on a bunch of websites, which is a lot of work. I'm going to make a bunch of new Facebook ads, which is a lot of work. Wrong answer. The answer is I'm going to take these software-enabled tools, I'm going to put them in your business, and they're going to automatically bring you customers. And really good tactical examples here. Let's start with missed call text back. Have you ever called a business wanting to buy something and they didn't pick up the phone? Ever had that happen?
Happens all day.
All day long, for gosh sakes, everywhere in the entire world. I don't care about your time zone. I don't care about your language. I don't care about your country. It happens, right? Right now. I don't care if you're in Munich or Mumbai, right? Or Maryland. It's happening right now. And so all you got to do is put one thing in place, missed call text back. What does that mean? I call in, you don't pick up because the business owner never picks up. And it texts me, hey, sorry, we're on the other line with a customer. We're out in the field helping, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to book an appointment? Would you like to get blah, right? Yes, I would. And thank God you texted me because I was going to call your competitor. That one feature right there, telling you it's a $100 million business for somebody who just focuses. But those are the types of technologies that you could put in place for every business in your local town. You can crush it and clean up. And here's the great thing. One customer off a missed call text back easily pays for a $300 bill all day long, at least in the US for US businesses. This is true for Canadian businesses, for Western European businesses. And if you got to charge a little less for people outside of that those markets, so be it. But I guarantee you, even in Mumbai, you can charge a price where people will easily easily pay to turn those missed calls into customers all day long. So that's just one feature that you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys are becoming the agency GPT, I would say, creating like a technology baseline for all the businesses, especially agencies, to come in and build upon it. I have a quick question, Sean, if you'd like to share. What is like, again, I know you got 2 to 3 million users right now at a sub account level. What percent of them are actually internally like high level users, and what percent actually is like,
Oh, so we have 27 direct, or no, sorry, 30 now, 30 direct high level customers. I don't know how many users are in there necessarily, but 30 people who directly pay us, work with us, are our agency partners.
that's pretty awesome. Now, in terms of the demand of product development, I have a quick question here. There's always this mindset, especially for businesses, just want to be like, get everything done quicker. How do you actually decide on like features which needs to be done for the software end and feature needs to be done to the customers end? How do you actually blend between those and strategize on
Yeah,
decision?
sure. So I would say that, first of all, it has shifted radically over time. So it used to be like 90-10 agency, let's say, right? Because the problem, so we always say, sell them what they want, give them what they need. And what we mean by this is, if it's sort of like, if you think about your own life, if you've ever run into a situation where you've had to try to, like, somebody, let's say there's a friend of yours and they're doing something is bad for them and you're trying to get them to stop. The problem is if you go to them and you're like, hey man, you realize that is a really bad idea, that conversation never goes well. They're never like, oh, thank God you mentioned it. I quit. I'll stop smoking or drinking or partying all night. That's never how it goes, right? They get mad at you, they get angry, they disagree with you, and it just kills the whole conversation, right? So same thing here, actually. So instead of saying, listen, you need to be selling missed call text back, what we say is, oh, you want a funnel builder, a proposal builder, a CRM, a this. Cool. We'll build all that first. So that way we sucker you in. And now that you have what it is that you said you wanted, let's talk about all the things you didn't even know you needed. And so that's really how we built our business. Now it started 90 because we didn't have a lot of those features originally. It's slid actually, I would say, ooh, gosh, maybe like 70-30 the other direction now. So there's only about 30% of the things. So like good example is communities. Communities are coming out this quarter. They'll actually be launched next week, I think. Communities like Circle or Mighty Network, something like that. And that's very like markety-esque, right? Now, could it be used for small businesses? Absolutely. But it's certainly not something a small business owner has any clue exists. And it's really going to be big for coaches and entrepreneurial people and agencies and stuff, right? Cool. Great. So we'll get you out that feature because some people are going to love that. But on the other side, now we're putting out things like estimates and proposals. Now, proposals, kind of cool, good crossover there. Agencies use proposals, but so does every service business, right? And estimates, guess what? Plumbers, man, lawyers, doctors, dentists, these people use estimates. QuickBooks Online integration coming out, like all that stuff. Mobile payments like tap to pay. So back to payments on your mobile phone, you used to be, you have to have those silly readers, but now you don't. You can actually tap it on the phone. Like you can tap it on the iPhone or the Android phone. So now you guys can go out and replace Square or some of these other big players. And do I expect that to be an agency feature? No, but I do expect it to make agencies a lot of money. And so now we're moving from more of an agency focus over time to more of a business focus because we now, I think, we can bring almost any agency into the product, right? You pick something, I got it. And so now I've got you in. So now it's like, okay, listen, let me show you how to make a lot more money than you're making right now, become a lot stickier to your client, and actually help them run their whole business end to end. So this year and next year will really be about how do we help, if no matter what business you're talking to, how can we be their entire day-to-day operational system? And so like big rocks left on that is probably Q3 will be e-com. So we'll be launching e-com. And then I could even see us doing something crazy like next year going into POS systems if you have retail clients. So really, really big developments there.
Oh my goodness. I'm just overwhelmed with the product you guys are building. It's just like insane. I don't think anybody can match the speed and the execution you guys are doing.
Well, we have the best customers in the world, right? So if you think about think about anybody that is competing in any area of our business, the way they do it is really simple. They go out and they hire a bunch of salespeople and then they run a bunch of ads and then they attack a bunch of small business owners and they try to pull them all in, right? And it's insanely expensive. They don't make, almost all of them are unprofitable doing it. And then at the end of the day, what they do is they also tend to leave those businesses with a really terrible outcome. And I'll tell you a little secret. I think most agencies today are actually out there patching up and trying to fix this model from behind the scenes. Because think about it. They get a call from their customer like, hey, I need more customers. I need help with this, need help with that. They discover these situations and then they end up having to become experts and they become like free help for these software companies. And it's just terrible and it's ridiculous and it doesn't help anybody. So I think at the end of the day, our mission is like, listen, since you're already going to have to do this anyways, how can we help you get paid for that? How can we help you get recognition of that as well? Because the other thing is, right, a lot of times we've seen agencies bring in other software systems, pour their heart and soul into it, make them work like crazy. And because they're cheaper than the service, what does the business owner do? They fire the agency. And it's like, hey man, I made that work. you jerk. And so, and eventually the business figures this out and so forth and so on. But then business owner, ego, I don't want to call you and be like, you're right. I'm an idiot. I want to hire you again. They don't do that, right? They just call another agency and they say,
Yeah.
hey, can you come in and help me with my XYZ CRM system? Right. And boom, back the cycle goes. So we're fixing that cycle. We're putting agencies first. And we're also creating a whole new breed of people called SaaSpreneurs. Some of these folks, they've never been agencies, and you don't need to be an agency. You just truly need to want to help small businesses be successful.
Yep, that's insane. So I do have a few questions as we have 4 more minutes to go. So would
Yeah.
you mind sharing the best tools and how do you manage your productivity at a day-to-day level?
Sure. I mean, we're an entirely remote team. So that's the most important thing. We've never been, by the way, we were remote before COVID was a thing. So we've been remote since the get. And my two co-founders live in two other places. One's in Dallas, Texas. The other's in Qatar. And then we've also got people all around the world. So it's Slack, it's Zoom. That's about it. And Facebook and email and all that. But I mean, and it's very disjointed and loose. And we're very much into ad hoc conversations. We don't like meetings. We don't like structure. We don't like formality. We don't like rules. They really haven't built our company. And the more we put them in place, the harder it's made it. So, what we do is we try to stay true to our roots. We're not always successful in that. And it's certainly that as you get bigger, there are some rules that just have to happen. Like we used to hire everywhere, which I loved, but now we have to be really we have to be like, okay, we're going to make a commitment to this country or this state or this or that, because there's tax laws and all kinds of local jurisdiction issues that you have to deal with as you get bigger. Cause then all of a sudden people want to be like, hey, are you complying with the transit tax? And you're like, what do you mean? I didn't know there was a transit tax. So there's weird stuff like that. But in general, we've been able to stick to that. And it's the best way to build a company.
Yep, I love that. I think like your all focus comes down to how can you make agencies more money and the end business owners make more money. And I think that's
it.
the main focus.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's all you got to
absolutely.
do. And just wake up tomorrow and say, how can I help someone make money? And if you think that way, and if you figure it out, I'm telling you, you'll do fine. If you're the person who's known around town as the person who makes them money, what other reputation do you want? That's an amazing reputation. Like, hey, want to make more money? Yeah, talk to that guy. I'm like, all right, that's what I want. That's what I want people to say about me.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you mind sharing like how does your typical day look like in a quick way?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have meetings with I either have meetings with the customer, I have meetings with potential partners or vendors. A lot of times people reach out to me because it's funny because a lot of software companies, like they want to reach out like, hey, we want to talk about a formal arrangement to do an integration and this and that. And it's so funny because I'm like, no, just, you don't need to talk to me. Just go to the developer tools. It's all right there. It's free. It's open. We promote you for nothing. Like, just go do it. You don't call me. And so there's that. And then of course I have meetings with, oftentimes the big thing I do almost consistently every day is meet with the product team. And if the product, not the product team, my CTO and my, what is he, COO, my two co-founders. And we just make sure we check in with each other, see where things are at. It's really important to know where the product's going, all that. And then from there, it's diving into the Facebook group, diving into the Facebook Messenger, just trying to make sure that things are running smoothly, finding people with issues, getting them to the right help, just trying to be present. And then of course, the best thing I get to do every day is look in the release notes channel of the Slack and see the new stuff that comes out, and then go make cool videos about it and tell people about it and get excited about it.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I see you everywhere in the high level community. You're just like 24/7 support on the high level community.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. And I don't know that much. So, because the product's so big now, but I just try to get people help where they can. And then again, when I see great pieces of feedback, I try to get like, oh, wow, that's a great idea. Let's get that to the right product manager, get that to the right whoever, right? Like, that's really what we're all about.
Yeah. Would you like to do that thing which you do in your YouTube intros? Like, hey,
Oh, like,
YouTube high level.
hey, everybody, happy Friday. Sean coming at you from Mount Level. I love that. That's
I
like,
love that. I watch
that's the
every of
best thing I do every day, man.
Yeah, it's exciting. Are we short on time? Do you have 2 more minutes? I just have
Yeah,
2
go
more.
for it.
Okay, awesome, brother. So would you like to, like, if you could go back and talk to 20-year-old yourself, like 20-year-old
Mhm.
Sean, what would be the
Yeah.
one advice you would give to yourself?
Get started a lot earlier. And I would also say, believe in yourself more. I mean, my background, let's see, let me think about this. Only child, single mom, mechanical engineer. So very smart mom, but at the same time, not an entrepreneur. And early on, I saw her work her butt off, but get laid off twice. And for no other reason than the financial markets changed, nothing that she did wrong. And I thought, well, that sucks. If I'm going to get laid off, I might as well just fail on my own and be my own business person. But the biggest mistake I would say I made is I assumed that I just needed someone in my life to teach me how to be a business person, right? Like, oh, well, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I should like get a mentor or should work for someone or this or that or find a partner. And I did that. And honestly, looking back on that, I mean, that was a big mistake because it sucked probably 10 years out of my life that I didn't need to have sucked out of my life. And it's not that I would have made mistakes or this or that, but fundamentally what I learned from that person didn't radically change my life. I think I would have learned as much or more just simply getting out on the street and making it happen and going for it. And the biggest thing is like, you never fail until you quit, right? And so so I don't care if you have to get a part-time job or a full-time job to keep at your passion, but if you just consistently put in the reps, like, you just get better at everything that you do. And so, like, if you just don't quit, like if you just keep pivoting, and sometimes that you're going to get setbacks and you're going to get punched in the face, it's going to hurt, but as long as you don't stop, that's really the most important thing. And the other thing I would say is I'm a huge Warren Buffett guy. I highly recommend everybody study Warren, but one of his biggest tenets that I love is the margin of safety principle. So in everything you do, it's like, I don't know, it's like you never bet at all, right? So you never create scenarios where always imagine tomorrow you lose everything you put on the table. Make sure that it doesn't take you out of the game, right? So always create scenarios where whatever you're risking doesn't fundamentally take you out, so that you can continue to pivot, you can continue to push forward, even if that means you fundamentally lose in what you're trying to do. Because high level, we had all kinds of ideas that we tried that failed, but because of that margin of safety principle, we were able to continue to pivot, and we were able to find something that worked. So fundamentally, realize that I'm here by many things, luck included, but a lot of really bad, terrible failure ideas brought me to this place. So it's not the kind of thing where I'm some super smart dude who knows all the answers. It's just I failed over and over and over and again. I failed enough that until I was successful. It's like the whole Abraham Lincoln thing, right? Like, he's like, I don't know, he's pretty much like a loser until all of a sudden he's the president, and you're like, how'd that happen, right? But it's just fail until you figure out something that works. And I would say I've done something very similar. So if you take anything away, if a guy like me can do this, pretty much anybody can. I think the fundamental difference is just, can you continue to stick it out in the face of failure, and realize failure, by the way, isn't a personal indictment against yourself. It doesn't mean that you're a loser. It just means it didn't work. So like, learn from that and move on. Like, see that as a learning opportunity, realize like that maybe that model didn't work, but there is a model that works. So just continue to push forward until you find that model.
That was a golden piece of advice for all the business owners who's listening to this podcast. Would you mind sharing your life's biggest achievements and your next bigger goals?
My life's biggest achievement was becoming a dad. I would say, looking back on everything, in fact, what forced me to truly step out on my own and really own my future was my son. It's one thing to tell yourself in the mirror that everything's going great and you love your life and you're a big shot. It's quite another to lie to yourself that way, but it's quite another to tell your child that. And when you realize that you would never tell your child that, and you're just lying to yourself, and that he's going to grow up real quick, all of a sudden you start to sober up and think, maybe it's going to be hard to tell my kid to go for his dreams if I'm not willing to do the same. So that was my greatest achievement, because it certainly changed my life in many more ways than I could have ever imagined, but all very positive ways. So that's absolutely my life's biggest achievement. And I would say for future goals, I mean, my future goals are to continue to do what I'm doing. I really love what we're doing. I love the way we're impacting the world. I like that we're helping people. I like we're creating models that are sustainable, that are honest and good. And to me, that's what matters. I think a lot of life there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of fly by night. There's a lot of sort of that stuff. And I'm just happy that our model really isn't that. I can tell you, I can show you person after person after person who started big and small and fundamentally got to real success, and not just one-time success, but sustainable success. In fact, I just talked to a guy this morning who started off as an agency owner. He's right down the road from me, actually, which is funny because I live in a small state, and he was focusing on churches because he was like a pastor or something. And I said, that's a horrible idea. You're going to fail, because I love local. I don't like niching out. And sure enough, I checked in with him like 3-4 months later. I said, how are things going? He said, terrible. I'm going to fail. I said, I told you so. You should focus on local. And then I saw him in October and I said, how are things going? He said, they're amazing. That things have really turned around. And I said, well, what did you do? What did you change? And he's like, oh, I followed your advice. I went local. I went to the Chamber of Commerce, this and that. And so then I just checked in with him this morning randomly. And I said, how are things going? He said, things are still going great. In fact, they're getting better than ever, because had a partner. He got rid of his partner. He's going out on his own. Things are going really well for him. But you know what? He's still with the Chamber of Commerce and he's still local, and things are going great. So stories like that, that's why I get up in the morning. That's what gets me out here. And that's what I love.
Yeah, I think that really keeps you pumped up every day to get excited and work in high level overall. Any last word before we conclude the entire podcast session for today?
No,
Shaun?
hey, it's just great to be here, and it was awesome to meet you and awesome to talk to you. And thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, Shaun. Once again, guys, whoever watches this podcast, it's definitely what you need to learn from. His journey has been amazing. He himself admitted like the product was not built in the first place. It's just evolved over time. And one thing I really love and learn from high level watching how they have built products is be customer obsessed and get very clear on the outcome you want to help them achieve, and you will succeed. So that's what I would like to leave you with today, guys. Appreciate you jumping on, Shaun, once again. So guys, watch another episode on the YouTube channel. Until then, thank you so much for watching the Nikhil Sai Show. Peace for today. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming, Shaun.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.